I think Harrison's bird diet's the best thing that's ever come along.
At the moment, it's the finest food available in the world.
I recommend HBD to every avian patient that comes in.
And HBD for me has become the most single powerful therapeutic weapon that I have to be able to offer to my clients.
I guess the main thing that I see the profession using my diets is therapeutically, and the opportunity we're missing as a profession is a prevention. This is a food for the life and the health of the bird, not just when he gets sick.
The single most common ailment that I see in pet birds are complaints of sluggishness, not eating, not feeling well, lack of appetite, lack of interest, and just generally not being as alert as the bird used to be. In 90% of the cases that I see, all of these things are directly related to not being fed a proper diet, and most of them are nutritionally related.
The dermatitis, the skin infections we see, the foot problems, beak problems are due to malnutrition. The liver disease, the hepatic lipidosis, which is fatty liver, is due to malnutrition. Many of the bacterial diseases are due to the body's inadequate immune system, once again due to malnutrition.
Veterinarians have identified malnutrition, improper feeding, as the #1 cause of death, somewhere in the range of 75 to 90%.
When we go through the physical exam, they're able to see that if their bird isn't on an optimal plane of nutrition, we're able to show them very clearly that the tissues in the ear, the tissues in the mouth, the skin of the feet, it's not normal, and we're able to really help them visually see that for themselves and then offer them a way to correct that.
So if you put that together, the proper vitamins, minerals, and proteins, along with wholesome, healthy ingredients, your pet should live longer, healthier, and be happier. The #1 selling product in the United States to pet owners right now is colored seeds.
They are deficient in probably 15, 20 essential amino acids, trace elements, and a bird that is on a seed diet is not going to be healthy, and it's not going to live that long. And during its life, it's going to have many illnesses that are totally preventable by proper nutrition.
And there's no question in my mind that the seed diets fail to prepare the birds immunologically, physiologically, etc., for the conditions that they commonly encounter.
Seed diets are lacking anywhere, depending on who you talk to, from 32 to 48 different ingredients a bird needs to stay healthy. Nutrition-wise, it's proteins, vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals. Those are the 4 major groups that seeds miss. There's a lot of things in seeds, especially seeds that have been raised by conventional farming, that more and more people are beginning to recognize as dangerous. Pesticides, herbicides, and almost all of those seeds are sprayed now with ethoxyquin. Ethoxyquin was an herbicide used for years to stop plants from growing. Now it's the #1 anti-mold product in animal foods. Whereas organic crops have a lot of genetic diversity, they have strength, they're growing in a very wet soil that holds moisture, has the strength in it, and doesn't require the pesticide usage to keep the pests off of it. We chose grain-placed foods because their reputation was they were the pinnacle. There was no place better to go.
My father started converting the farm to organics in 1953 and had phased out any chemical use, I think, by the end of the 1956 cropping year. We don't use any insecticides on our farm. We don't use any herbicides on our farm. Any time that you have animals or other things consuming stuff that has those residues or materials on it, it tends to concentrate in their system. And I do know that birds are a little more sensitive than a lot of other animals to those kinds of things, and it's just seems like a very logical, natural progression to look at.
You know, we don't have a clue of the pesticide levels in most of the things we feed our birds, but those things are certainly important in birds, and we should get away from them as much as we can. So since they aren't testing for them, we don't know what the levels are. The only way you can do that is to head towards organic. And organic truly has to be third-party documented.
Certainly birds that have been on poor diets and are converted over to HBD show improvements in a number of different systems, including skin and feather quality, liver function, respiratory function. Those all improve once they're on an organic diet for a long period of time.
So what we've found since our clients have used HBD is we're doing fewer of the emergency care, desperation, sick birds, bottom of the cage, very little hope of success, high bill to the client, low success rate for us, we feel bad, the client feels bad. We're doing a lot more annual physical exams on basically healthy birds, where we do small corrections of diet or small corrections of exercise. We do routine screening of blood work to make sure things are going well, fecal exams. And the birds are healthy patients. It's like running a wellness clinic, which feels a whole lot better as a veterinarian than dead birds.
Birds that have been on our products, you know, it was one of those things when you first see it, it's like, oh, I can't wait for somebody else to see this, because they're not going to believe me. It's just too good to be true.
The changes that I have seen occur in birds that I've switched on to HBD, I guess the single word that best describes it is rejuvenation. I've got a couple of letters from people, especially in birds which are on really bad diets that were middle-aged to older birds, in which they claim that the bird that they thought was in its last few months of life because of old age suddenly were children again. And they were rejuvenated, they were active, they were happy, and they looked like new birds.
Alex has been on the diet since November of '90. And we noticed once he started on the diet that there was a decrease in the feather plucking, the quality of the feathers looked better, and also, of course, the health problems basically went down. He recovered from all the diseases that he had gotten, and he hasn't been sick since, thank heavens.
HBD is a very acceptable diet compared to other formulated diets. It's not necessarily easy to convert all birds, but in comparison to all the other products I've tried, it is the easiest.
We're able to offer it to the birds, and just from the first time they see it, they usually pick it up. Most of these birds are willing to convert while they're in the office for the exam, just right there on the table.
One of the things that really surprised me about HBD was how readily Alex accepted this, because I had tried feeding him all the other pellets. He would not accept them. This was just not possible. He's been on sunflowers for 15 years. It was a major fight to get him to eat a piece of apple, and you're telling me he's going to eat this stuff. And he did.
We've always liked pellets, but we always did a lot of supplementation and just a combination of things, hundreds of things. We've slowly gave up a lot of our little birdie breads and our corn beans and rice and simplified the feeding part of it. We had a 43-year-old bird start laying last year on Harrison's diet that had never laid an egg in her life because she never had the opportunity. We tried for about 3 or 4 years, couldn't get her to lay, and after a year on the Harrison, she did lay a clutch. This year, she went back and laid 2 clutches.
We're extremely happy with the Harrison's bird diet. We've tried a lot of different pellets, and we're happy with it.
When we rescued the second young from the wild nests so that they wouldn't starve to death, we fed them Harrison bird diet. And we found that the growth was spectacular, their feathers looked perfect, and in fact their color was, if anything, brighter than the birds that were being raised by wild adults. Probably because Harrison bird diet is more complete and it has more beta-carotene and more perfect nutrition than the typical diet that the parents can get in a given week for their babies. And I think with time they probably could even out their diet, but they just didn't look as good as the ones raised in HBD.
We are concerned with the health of the bird and therefore the happiness of the owner with that bird. And if they find that they're constantly dragging their bird to a veterinarian with problems, that's not fun. It may be profitable for the veterinarian, but really down inside the veterinarian's not happy. So we wanted to teach veterinarians how to make happy, healthy birds.
Proper nutrition is the single most important element in a bird's life. From the certified organic fields of Grain Place Foods to the special processing of premium whole grains, every product in the HBD line is carefully sealed and packaged so that the food is of the utmost highest quality when it is fed to your bird. In addition to providing the best certified organic diet and continuing avian education worldwide, the goals of HBD International are consistent with global attention on ecology and preservation of our natural resources. Harrison's Bird Foods are the formulas that provide proper nutrition for your bird's lifetime care. Because the most important thing you can do for your bird's health is to feed it right.